It's Thursday, August 13th. Welcome aboard to this edition of Barnstable Today. I'm Kevin Free.
And I'm Andrew Gobiel. Thank you very much for joining us.
We'd like to remind you right at the top that the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website. You can check them out at www.town.barnstable.ma.us.
We are inside Town Hall today as we bring you Barnstable Today, which is only appropriate because the focus of today's program is inside Barnstable's town government. Earlier today, Kevin had an opportunity to sit down with the two facilitators of a very, very successful program which helps you become a little bit more informed about the town of Barnstable.
We're coming to you from the Selectmen's Conference Room with Meg Loughran and Sue French, who are the instructors in the Inside Barnstable Town Government Citizens Leadership Academy. They're here today to discuss their upcoming fall semester, and we're also going to get a little bit into the details of the program. Sue, Meg, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Could we, first of all, hear about what your program is for someone who is maybe a newbie to the town, just maybe hasn't heard of your program before? Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. It's an 11-week session that we hold twice a year, and the classes meet on an evening. It's Wednesdays in the fall and Tuesdays in the winter from 6:30 to 9. And it covers every department of the town, the history of the town itself, the history of the town government, and then we move around throughout the 11 weeks to the various departments in the town. For instance, the airport we visit the police department, the DPW headquarters. So by the end of the 11 weeks, people really have a good sense of how our municipal government works.
How did this start? How did this program kind of come to fruition?
Well, it was an idea incepted by John Klim, the town manager, who we have a good program in the town, the police academy, and we modeled it after the police academy on John's recommendation, and we studied other citizens academies around the country, which there are very few, and Meg and I kind of tailored the program to fit our town's needs, so that citizens in our town could get a feel of how their municipal government works. It's been running for over 7 years, so we've been doing this for 7 years, but we did get a lot of help from the Barnstable Police, too.
So the fall semester is the one session that you do have, and there is also a winter session that you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. Is there always a fall and winter? Mm-hmm. And how could someone wants to get involved, if someone wants to maybe just find out some more information to see if they're interested, how would they go about doing that?
Well, they can go right on the town website, which I'm sure is printed on this broadcast. And I think it's on the right-hand side, it's Citizens Academy. Mm-hmm. And then that gives a description, and they can download an application or get more information by calling the town manager's office. And we have brochures that we put around and flyers and things, but we don't really have a budget for advertising, so a lot of it's word of mouth or people finding out the information from the town website.
Mm-hmm. So you said it's 7 years now. How many sessions have you had? 7 fall sessions each year?
Well, we're starting our 14th session, so we have been we've been doing 2 a year. Mm-hmm. And we'll see, we take it year to year, so we'll see.
John Klim approached us in about this time 7 years ago with the idea, and then we spent what would have been the fall semester kind of planning it and getting it organized, and then our first session really kicked off in January of that year, of the next year.
One thing, though, we want to make clear is we don't teach it. We're not instructing it. We facilitate it, because there's no way that with the breadth of this course that we could even have half of the knowledge of it. But because the town departments do each session, and the town manager, the department heads are really very good at this. They get their moment in one evening to shine and show what they do. I think a lot of citizens, there's two things that I think that just stand out for us when people take this course and they see the professional people that we have that are running the departments. One is that they have a face to a name to associate. If they have a concern in a certain area, say DPW or with police services, after this course they can call Mark Ells, they can call Chief McDonald up. And I think people feel really good about that. The other thing is that we get a lot of volunteerism out of this. Mm-hmm. People get into the departments and see how wonderful some of our services are for the money. And we end up getting a lot of volunteers.
I'd also like to know a little bit about what people's feedback is to you. So they take the course, and you touched on it with the volunteerism and getting involved. What other feedback do you have from someone who may not go to those lengths, but what would the normal reaction be?
Well, the thing that we hear again and again, and I think Sue and I feel the same way, when we started as the facilitators of this course, I think both of us had the feeling that, we knew quite a bit about the town. We were pretty involved in other aspects of the town. But we were just amazed at the depth and breadth of, what each department does. But more than that, the absolute professionalism and dedication that the different department employees, as well as the department heads, but the whole department itself has to their job, and how lucky we are to have this level of expertise on the Cape. And that's what we hear again and again from people who take the class. They're so impressed with the professionalism, the education of the people. And, getting back to what Sue mentioned about the cooperation we have from the departments, I don't think we can stress enough how much these employees participate in this.
Right.
And many times, on their own time, in the evenings. When their department is up, they're there, and they're participating, and, it's just kind of expected, and we really appreciate it, as do the members of the class.
Now, when you're taking this class, is there an opportunity to get out into the field to kind of go see some of the different operations? Could you touch on that?
Yeah, we were just thinking that how one of the things that makes this course, I think, a little unique is that we do move around each week to different departments, so people get a real hands-on feel. They see where people work. Some classes are more interactive than others. One time we even got to take, at the airport, we got to take an airplane ride. We go to the fire department. They see the fire personnel working hands-on. They see the jaws of life in action. We also do a bus tour that's part of that, and that's on a Saturday, so they get to tour and see and learn the history of all 7 villages. I think that getting out into the community and seeing what this town has and how vast this town is, and again, all the services we have for our tax dollar, I think is what impresses people.
And that bus tour that you're talking about, where do you go? What locations do you go to? Are you going to historic places? Or are you going to places of work? Or
well, we've tried to, when Sue and I put it together, we tried to focus on the municipal sites. We wanted people to know where their libraries were, where the schools were, where the town ways to water were, things like that. But what we do is we have wonderful guides: Bob Frazee, Jim Gould, Nancy Shoemaker, Robbie Stewart, that are well-known members in the historical community of Barnstable, and they get on and off the bus, and as we go through the various villages, they point out things that are historic, different types of architecture, as well as the municipal sites. So it's really a combination, and all of them have wonderful historical facts that people get a taste of that the first night when Nancy Shoemaker does the history of the town, but then they get a little bit more, as we go through the 7 villages. So it's almost a 4-hour tour, and wow. People have asked us repeatedly for our script, can you give us your map of where we went, because I want to go back.
We've also had several employees take it, and their feedback on that is they had no idea, because when you work for the town, you may know what your department does, but you're not aware of all the others, and so they feel they've expanded their knowledge, and it's been beneficial, I think, to that, too.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot. And we've just been taking an inside look at Barnstable Inside Town Government. If you'd like to check it out, there's a place on the website for you to find some more information. Sue French, Meg Lochran, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you to Sue and Meg for joining us and getting us a little bit more informed on Inside Barnstable Town Government.
And a little bit of information for you as well, traffic-wise. Please keep in mind that South Street in the area just over here in front of Town Hall on Friday morning is probably going to be especially packed with the funeral for Eunice Kennedy Shriver. So keep that in mind if you're making some plans to head to downtown Hyannis Friday morning. For Kevin Friel, I'm Andrew Gobeil. Thank you very much for joining us.